Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the it is?
Aries and Andy, chewing the jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was on your mama.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism,
Sexism,
much love to my loyal bag holders,
rollers, loaders.
we got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
I remember you said you wanted to do did we do Canada Part 2? We did, right?
No, we didn't do Canada Part 2.
So is this it?
Yeah, this is Canada Part 2.
Right, because you said you wanted to talk about Halifax. And
Well, because we hadn't been there, we didn't know what it was going to be.
Right,
we
right.
we did Quebec.
Yeah.
Not Quebec, Ottawa, and then we did
Montreal.
and we still
Yeah.
had Halifax to go. And I'm kind of glad we waited to talk about it a little bit
Okay.
because I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised, but then very surprised when we first got there.
Why were you give me both. Why?
I was surprised when we got there because Belarus Art Center is in the back of a high school.
Ah, right. It was the high school theater.
Yeah, but it's actually its own theater. It has a separate entrance, but it's connected to the high school. So on one side, it's the high school theater. On the other side, it's where they do their shows. It holds like, what was it, like 750, almost 800 people?
Yeah, but I guess about that.
And so I mean, it wasn't a bad
800 and change.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad theater. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I was just shocked that we went back to high school.
Yeah, and it made me realize how much I never liked it. But you know, it was weird because all the theaters that we had done, and even places that weren't really theaters, but they turned it into a theater kind of. You know, they served alcohol, and I was like, "Damn, where's the setup for the alcohol?" And then they said because it was a school, they couldn't. So it was adults that came to the show, but with no beverages.
Yeah. So, but it was a good show. That's the surprising
it
part.
went exactly how I expected it to go for having never been to Halifax, Nova Scotia, but knowing it wasn't Toronto, Montreal, or even Edmonton and Calgary, because this was, it felt real Asgardish. A la Thor. Like we were in Asgard. Fisherman town.
Yeah.
A lot of water, kind of, you know, grayish, cold weather.
Yeah.
You know.
But we went to mix with the.
I shouldn't say Asgard, because it was more like in Endgame when Thor was fat.
Okay.
Whatever that little town he was at.
Yeah.
It was more
That's
like
exactly what it was.
Right, because Asgard is the fictional place that looks fancy and Thorish in his world. So it was more like that town.
Yeah, a lot of beer drinking.
Yeah.
a lot of regular people just being cool, and it was cool. And then someone told us about a bar that was going to be open that night. Locals.
Yeah.
And we wanted to come. We wanted to go see the local sites, and they sent us to this bar called The Local.
Yeah.
Which is right across the street from the Salvation Army homeless shelter.
Yeah.
So we were out there mingling with the homeless and the locals of the Nova Scotia, Halifax area.
Yeah.
And you don't really talk to the homeless side. All they do is come over and ask you, do you have a cigarette?
Yeah.
And then, so it's just like being in the States.
You know, the big to-do there was the seafood. Like, that's what everybody was raving about. And we went to what was recommended, I guess, is like the top.
Salties. It was one of the
top.
For locals, there's some other parts that are like recommended, but they're the touristy ones. The people go for touristy. This was a local spot.
Yeah, and you know, because of the height, I think I got caught up. And look, the fish you got what you got? You got the flounder, right?
Yeah, I got a halibut.
Halibut, and what was the risotto? Was that
a lobster risotto.
And a lobster risotto. And I said, man, I got to try that fish because it looks so white and fluffy and airy. And it was just that. It was airy. It was light. I couldn't put my hand on what was missing. And then I ordered the lobster pasta. You know, of course, in Canada, they don't do gluttony. So they give you small portions, unlike the United States, where we put our whole in your plate. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool, but it wasn't until I got back to the room and you had said something about it's almost like it was good, but there was no seasoning. You could just taste the butter or something.
Yeah, they wanted it to be, and it served exactly what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be very lightly seasoned because you're supposed to taste the fish. You're supposed to taste the ocean, and we did. That was one of the freshest fish I ever had. Popped right out of the ocean. They cut it up, but I've been in Mexico where they get the fish out of the ocean. They cut it up and cook it for you right there on a grill. But they put a little. There's a little.
It was missing seasoning.
There was a little seasoning on it in Mexico. Here, it's just clean as can be. It was beautiful. It was, like the fish itself that I had was unbelievable. That risotto, that lobster risotto had some flavor. That one was nice.
Right.
But it's all very minimal. It's
even my pasta. And I'm a pasta dude. That's my weakness.
Yeah.
I've had better pastas, man. It was cool. But it felt like it was just, here's the lobster, here's the pasta. There was no je ne sais quoi on that.
It's just really clean eating, and it's supposed to just be like the fish is the star, and you don't cover it up. And I get that. I understand that.
Some stars need a lot of makeup.
Well, yeah, but it was tasty, but it was just fresh fish. That's what I would change the name of it to fresh fish. It wasn't salty. It was fresh fish.
And that's for a guy that again, one of my favorite shows, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. There's these restaurant sayings, kind of cliche sayings. Oh, they make it with love. Oh, they treat you like family. And I get sick of those sayings because I'm like, okay, first of all, stop with they treat you like family. You don't get a bill when you eat with your family. These give you a bill to pay at the end of every meal. So I hate that saying.
You paid an emotional bill for that family meal.
Man, and then the other one is that's another one. Whenever people eat seafood, it tastes like the ocean. Have you ever swallowed a drop of salt water?
Yeah.
It don't taste good.
No.
So stop with you can't taste like it came out the ocean.
You taste like the ocean smells. That's the way they should say it.
Well, I don't even know that I understand that one. But when you get it out the ocean, there's butter, there's salt, pepper, all kind of seasoning that go on that. So if it tastes straight up out the ocean, that would be disgusting.
Yeah, I agree with that. But it was really cleanly prepared, very good. We had a great seat right on the, I guess it's their bay, but it's connected direct. It's right to the ocean, you're right there. And it was beautiful. It was nice. I mean, I would recommend it if you're ever, and I don't know how many people listening to this are going to be in Halifax, Nova Scotia, but I would recommend going over, and that whole little area, all the shopping that's around that little area and that downtown. It was cute. It's very
quaint.
Yeah, kitschy, cute, nice.
The hotel we stayed in, that restaurant was banging.
Yeah, you like that one. I didn't go to that one.
I had a seafood soup. Oh my God, Andy, I damn near ate the bowl, nigga. The actual glass bowl when I couldn't dig no more liquid up into my spoon. Oh my God.
Which is awesome.
And some scallops, some seared scallops. Man, that was banging.
Well, just think about the freshness. They're getting everything locally. It's right there. So it's in that great cold water right there.
Yeah.
So I think that's nice. But what's funny about it is you really like that restaurant. I had a hard time going to it because the hotel was called the Future Inn. And I don't know what future it's from. It's either
it's from the future past.
From the future past. It was probably well ahead of its time when it was built. But
yeah, it was dorm room.
Yeah,
like
time.
Dorm room.
Yeah, it was like a dorm room. Time has caught up to it, and again, it was like another Best Western, which is funny because the guys who put this tour together, they gave us 2 great places to stay on the first leg of the trip, and then that third one when we were in Toronto, that was beat.
Yeah.
And then when we did the second half, the East Coast of it, Ottawa was really nice. Montreal was really nice.
Montreal,
the hotel was nice.
The hotel was nice, yes.
And it was convenient because there was a market that's built into it, a Starbucks. Yeah. There was a lot that was built in. You could go get those candies
and lip chocolate pops.
Yeah. So that it was convenient, but the hotel was very nice. And then we go to Halifax, which is just an older, quaint city, and because of where the school is, that has the theater. They said it would have been really hard to stay downtown because the traffic gets backed up, and it would have taken us too much time to get back and forth because of a sound check and then coming back. So they put us at a place that's close, and it wasn't bad, but it was like a Best Western again. So we finished off. 4 out of the 6 places were awesome. So I'm not gonna hate on the last one. Wasn't great, but it was better than the one in Toronto.
Dude, and listen, tell me if I'm wrong here, Andy, but the promoter for this Halifax gig, he drove us from the hotel to the venue, which wasn't nothing but a 3-minute drive.
Yeah.
But then I you could tell from where we were, there wasn't to do around there. So I basically said to him, hey man, can you recommend some nightlife spots after the show so we could kind of kick it? So he came up with 3 places, and he said in the text, hey, I'll drive you if you want. I was like, oh, that would be awesome. So I said, can you bring us back? He said, absolutely. So the next day, Andy and I had already planned to go eat at this salty place, but we were gonna order an Uber. So I said, you know what, let me invite this dude to dinner. That way we don't have to do the Uber, and he can be our ride to and from. And listen, this dude is a portly motherfucker. He's kind of fat. He's fat. And so we order some food, and Andy orders some calamari. Now, I didn't want any because I'm still feeling a little full from my lunch with the seafood bowl and the scallops. And we ordered that, and we ordered some bread with butter, and this was going to town on the food, right? And there's a saying that goes, never eat the last of anything if you don't pay for it. Now, I paid for everything. It was my treat, and it was my treat because he drove us. But at one point, you had some calamari, he had some calamari, and there was a nice amount of calamari left that was just sitting there. And at one point, he just took the spoon and damn near scooped all of it out. I didn't say nothing, but I'm just like, damn, nigga, etiquette, motherfucker. You ain't paying for this. Ask if we want it first. Like, anybody gonna eat this? He just went for it.
He was so nice, though, man. I didn't even notice it like that because.
Have you heard that saying?
Yeah. But you know what he did though? The night before, he took us. We went out after we really hadn't ate that much because we were traveling, and we get there and Aries always. We've told him your schedule, right? We go out, we have a couple drinks, and then Aries wants to get food and bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay. So he says there is a place that's open late, and he starts telling us about these garlic fingers, and that's their like pizza, but it was with this garlic butter, and then they do this Donair sauce. Am I saying it right?
I have no idea.
A Donner. Yeah, Donners are their like gyros, and a Donair is the sauce that they do. It was. He took us to it, and I ate that. And I ate after I'm supposed to eat. I don't eat late at night anymore, but I ate that. It was really good.
Right.
And you took a big wedge of it too because it was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
And I didn't think you were gonna like the sauce because it was a very weird kind of.
Right.
But it was like vinegar and this. I don't know what else is in it, but it was good. And that restaurant was pretty cool. So he was cool. He really did. He took us to a lot. He did eat that little that calamari, but I was done. I was done with the calamari. But you hadn't had any.
I didn't want any.
Yeah, I know, but it would have been nice if you would, like you said, if you would just go, you sure you don't want any of this?
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Just
okay. I'm gonna dip in then.
And I had ordered some bacon wrapped scallops at the Salties, and I could tell he was eyeing the out of them too. And I should have offered him one because I didn't eat. I ate, what was it? 1, 2, 3.
You did offer one at the end.
Yeah, I did, but he didn't take it. There was 5, and I ate 4, so I offered him one. I could tell though he wanted it though.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna put it in his pocket as we was leaving.
I was passing on it, but it did look good. It did.
So now we're here in Portland.
Yeah. And so, but overall, what did you think of Canada before you?
I liked it all. I would have preferred we stayed at a better place in Montreal than where we were.
And I would like to stay in downtown Halifax.
Yeah. I don't know that there would have been much to do in downtown Halifax other than serve the purpose that you wanted, which was to buy Halifax merch.
I just wanted some weird shit from there because how often? I don't think I'm ever going. I'm not that I wouldn't go back because of the place.
There'd be no reason for me to go back unless it's business.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wanted to get I was like, who's going to be running around with a Nova Scotia Halifax shirt? Let me get one of those. I thought that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So overall, yeah, I thought it was a cool swing.
Canadians really like you though, dude. That was what was, and it's just so funny because, like you did say,
Everybody likes me, but Hollywood.
but you're right when you described him, that Thor kind of that town.
Yeah.
And that's not the people that that I see coming up, and all these guys are coming up to you. Ari Spears,
Dude,
did anybody tell you you look just like Ari Spears?
I know I jokingly say it, but I'm gonna say it without being joking. I'm a genius, dude. I'm a beast, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? I'm special. I'm just, man. But yeah, we're here in Portland now. Dude, I gotta tell you. So the hotel, every time we come here, they put us in a different hotel. But anyway,
this hotel I like.
Yeah, this is called the Dossier. So I'm sitting at the bar the other day.
Great bar, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm having my little beverage, and these two white women, a couple stools over from me, loud conversation. I can hear it. And I mean really white, that, oh my God, like, really? Like, seriously? Like that type of white. So at one point, they're basically saying, hey, let's go to this other place for drinks. So they were ready to leave this bar we were at and go somewhere else. So the bartender comes over and he goes, one more round, ladies, before you go? And the one girl says, no, I think we're gonna boogie. I damn near spit my drink all over that goddamn counter. I said, that is the whitest I've ever heard. First of all, boogie. Who the says boogie? Second of all, the word is used contextually about dancing. This bitch, her response to we're leaving is boogie.
Yeah, because she was going to dance the out of there.
Okay. I think we're going to boogie. I was like, nigga, if I was trying to her, I know right there I don't want you to stay with me.
It was over.
It was over. As soon as I you got to go.
She was young though, right?
Probably in her 30s.
Really?
But when she said nothing sounded whiter.
No, it made me.
No, I think we're going to boogie.
Yeah.
Boogie.
But Portland's a little weird, dude. Portland, that's what Austin. Is it? Yeah, it's Austin and Portland that has that keep it weird.
But Austin has a little bit of a coolness to it.
Yeah, this doesn't. This has a coolness, but it's just different. It's a different vibe.
It's, I've always said, and Andy asked me this the other day, could I live here? No to here, but yes to Seattle, which is not a big distance from here. Because Seattle just feels a little cleaner.
It's more metropolitan.
And a little bit more metropolitan, a little bit cleaner. And one thing I do like about Portland, I love the greenery. A lot of trees, a lot of hills. And I always said, for a third home option, third, fourth, nice little cabin in the green and cozy, as it rains here a lot. And I'm not a big fan of the rain unless I'm in the right circumstances. But it's been raining every day here. There's a filthiness to this area. I just, ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But it sounds like we're on it, but we're really not.
No, you don't have to. There's everywhere.
Yeah, it's the truth. It is the truth. But I still like the Port. Like the shows have been fantastic.
Oh, the shows have been phenomenal. I want to say that this has been probably, to my recollection, some of the best shows since we've been to Portland.
Yeah,
numerous times.
I think so.
Listen, man. And then last night I went to this bar that I usually go to.
The Olympia.
The Olympia.
It's a cool bar, by the way.
You're
gonna go there.
I'm gonna go there. Let me just say it, because I was watching Dave Chappelle, a clip from, what was the one he did about the whole thing about transgender?
I don't remember the names.
Whatever it was called.
Asking me to remember a name.
Yeah.
I feel for the person that's going through that situation, that they have body dysmorphia. They see themselves like they're trapped in something else. And then to be trapped, just because that's their situation, They're living through that. They see the jawline, and they have to deal with that. And so I have empathy for them in that situation. That's not what they. That's not what they want. I don't think that's what they want to look like either. But I will say
Some may just give up or just go. That's fine with them.
Well, but the other part of it is, and this is where like you have empathy, but then you said something there that hard draw line, which is neither here nor there. If that's their look, that's their look. But you would spend the money to get boobs because you think that would make you closer to what you want to look like. But you have to. You don't have to do anything. You have to deal with the situation that you're in, and if that's the best that you can do, I guess that's the best they can do. And I'm not mad at it. I went to. I'm not mad. I'm not judging anybody in that situation. I don't know what that situation is. I'm thankful that I'm okay with who I am. I'm not excited about this. Look at it, but I'm okay with it. But I went to the rack, and there was a trans woman. The rack is Nordstrom's rack. It's their for the poor.
Oh,
for me. So I went over there, and there was a trans woman there, and she was doing her best job, and she did a good job. Like from a distance, I went, I wouldn't have known. I walked up, and I go, oh, and honestly, this is where this comes in. I'm curious to want to have that conversation, and I would love to be able to say, hey, but how do you approach that? And because I don't know that, we've talked about this on the podcast. We'd love to have someone on the podcast, a trans woman, to be able to come on here and give that specific. We had a trans man, but that is different from what's going on right now, where we have so much focus on that. And I would have loved to have been able to say to her, hey, man, I do this podcast. This might sound really weird, but I'd really like to get you on. But I don't. How do you broach that? How do you bring that up? If you don't know someone, you have to find someone that knows them, and then be able to go that way. I don't think you could just bring it up. Go, hey man, you're doing a really good job. Would you want to talk about it? I don't think that's possible. I have the empathy for someone who's trapped in that situation. That's a terrible situation. What if your brain made you feel like you are in the wrong body?
So Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah, well, here we're going right. We're going. Hey, there's a frying pan. Look, there's the fire.
So I'm gonna play this clip of Gerard on the Breakfast Club, and just to give it some context, he received Donkey of the Day from Charlemagne for a joke he did about his white boyfriend acting as his slave master, and then he bleeds from that into his apology about Dave Chappelle, and then for the rest of that with Dave, he just apologizes, and just his point is, I shouldn't have said it publicly. So, two things before we get to the Chappelle part. What did you think about that, about the joke and slavery, and with him saying what he said to Charlemagne?
Well, when he puts it in context, it's more understandable because when it's my how does he say my slave?
My slave master.
Yeah, you're going to take it in the context of the way that it came out. The little bit that I heard, yeah, your head is going to go to a sexual idea. I think, because of the way it's said. It makes sense what he was saying, and in a context, this is what people have to understand, and this is where I understand Charlemagne doesn't like the joke, but it's not his right to tell a comedian how to write their joke and present their life.
It wouldn't be his right if he was a comedian and did it.
Right.
But at least as a comedian, he's earned some stripes to be able to go, hey, from my standpoint, in terms of wit, maybe this can help you or hinder you.
Yeah.
But I've earned the right to do that. Dude, you're not even a comedian.
No, and it's his connection to the audience and the way that he says it, so completely out of context. And so I think Charlemagne's way off. And then, like, Charlemagne got into the structural racism of our country while he's trying to tell a joke about him and his boyfriend. If you had to do structural racism on everything that you said, don't speak.
But when Charlemagne was coming from the perspective of, you're from North Carolina with the first literacy laws, so he's trying to be technical and saying, here's why your joke doesn't work.
But that's what I'm saying. If a comedian, if a human being had to have a conversation with other human beings, but everything that we said, we had to take in context for everything that's happened before us, hundreds of years before us, 50 years before us. How do we have a conversation? How do we even tell a story? How do we connect? Because everything is a problem. We can make everything a problem. If you want to, I'm not saying that Charlemagne's not right about what he's talking about, but if you want to make everything a problem, we can make everything a problem. I can probably pick up every piece of art in the world and say why that's a problem. I'm just saying, if you want to look for a racial component in everything, you're going to find it.
You know, and just listen, I'm not telling you something you don't know, but in comedy, we bend the truth a little bit.
We have to.
We exaggerate for the sake of the joke. So, you know, if everything, like you said, was down to the to technicalities and down to every true detail, the joke may suffer. Because where's the fun in that?
There's not. And sometimes it has to be, you move things around a little bit just for the clarity to the room.
Right.
I mean, how is he going? I understand Charlemagne's point, but when you're going to a comedy show, we know that it's a comedy show.
Yeah.
You got to let it be funny. You got to let it breathe as a comedy show. Right. You can't go and try to take your knowledge and past history. Now, you should be careful. I mean, there's things that you should be aware of, but now you're getting to that's a detailed response from a joke that was about something completely different. So I think that he's holding Gerard to a higher standard than I think that's capable.
And then on top of that, my thing is, if you didn't see the joke, Charlemagne, to know it got laughs, then how could you say it's not funny?
Well, and then he went right away as the white people in the audience. He's assuming everything. He's not doing his research, but he wanted Carmichael to do research past a joke so that it would work for him. Right. But he wasn't willing to do the research to see how the joke played and what it really said inside of the special.
And again, as I've said on this podcast before, it bothers me when people state their opinions like they're law.
Right.
When he said to Gerard, it was just not a funny joke. To you.
Yeah, that's what he should have said.
To me.
It wasn't funny to me.
Yeah, stop saying it like it ain't funny because it's funny to somebody.
I mean, and again, I'm holding now Charlemagne to a standard. You could have looked at him and said, hey, it's not funny to me. You being from North Carolina, you know what these laws and what they affected. And so to me, it brought me to that place. I wasn't comfortable with it. Right. But go ahead. I get you. But like you said, you can have a valid opinion on why you don't think something's funny, but that doesn't give you the right to tell someone else that it's not funny and it's not the right joke.
Right.
But I was more confused with the second part.
Chappelle?
No, what he said at the very end.
What?
About the art form.
Oh, well, this bleeds into Chappelle. And this is where I forget, who was it? It may have been Pancho Z when he wrote in, and I read the email when he said, it felt like Gerard was taking a shot at you, Aries. And I go, no, I don't think he was taking a shot at me because a lot of comedians are doing that now. So I think he was just taking a shot at what he calls not art, which is absolutely art. Crowd work is a part of stand-up that it's like most stand-up, there are pieces to this.
It's a skill set.
It's a skill set. Some dudes political, some dudes are blue, some dudes are clean. Brian Regan, Sinbad, and not a lot of guys can be clean. I certainly say all the time, I'm not political. That's a very hard skill set, a la Bill Maher, Lewis Black. Some guys are storytellers, a la Bill Cosby, a la Andy. There's skill sets to this. And for him to dismiss that as hack, that's such a insult.
Well, I'll tell you another reason why I was upset with him. And he's a comedian, so I'm upset with him for this reason. People are putting that out online. And if that was...
Say that again? People are what?
People are putting these clips out online of crowd work.
Yeah.
And if that's what you wanted to say is not artwork, I'll even give you that. Let's just say that he was right. It's not artwork. It's a response to a crowd, and you're just doing something that isn't in the vein of a stand-up comic that has written material. Let's just say I'll give him that. But that's not why people are putting these clips out. Comics are putting these clips out so they can sell tickets, so that you can come and see the art. That's like if I made a movie.
We'll see more art.
Yes, if I made a movie and I put out these little tidbits so that I can get people to go to the movie.
Previews.
Yeah, but not like the heart of the movie, not the art of the movie, not the best parts of the movie, but they're like funny little bits to get people to come out or serious bits to get people.
Right.
I'm doing it to attract people, to bring them in. And not only that, because of these clips, we've opened up the door to see more people coming out to comedy shows. I don't necessarily like all the people that come out to comedy shows because of those, because they think they're part of the audience and they think they think that's what they're supposed to do is get to yell out. So I'm not really I'm not happy with that. But it's bringing more people out to visit the art form, and that's very important that he missed that. People are doing this to visit the art form. Just because he doesn't do it, and because he has a platform and he has
a playbook and he sticks to the script,
and he's doing great with that, I applaud him for what he does. But to say and to demean that because some people want to sell tickets because they don't have specials, because they're trying to increase their
how as a comedian can he dismiss that?
well, because he's looking at it as it's dumbing down or taking away from the art form, and it's not. There are some comics that do nothing but crowd work, and I got to tell you, that is a skill all on its own as well. So I don't like what he said, and I think that he I don't know why, but that offended me more. That's way more offensive than anything.
I'm gonna tell you what else offended me, and he alluded to this on his special where he came out and he called it Rothschild or whatever it was. Yeah. When he said people think that I'm a nice guy, and I'm really not. I see it now, because he said I'm usually the smartest guy in the room. Like, you're a little high on yourself, dog. Usually the smartest guy in the room doesn't say he's the smartest guy in the room, which makes him the smartest guy in the room. So you could tell he feels himself a little bit. Like, and when I say I'm a goddamn genius, I'm doing it for laughs. I'm being funny, but I am a goddamn genius. But you know, at least when I do it, there's a tongue in cheek to it. That to me felt like, just so you know, I'm the smartest dude in the room. So therefore, if I say it's not art, it's not art.
Well, he did say usually the smartest guy in the room.
Okay, but
at least he's looking around.
Yeah, I just, you know, and even when you go previews to get you to see the movie, yo, there's an art in that.
Yeah,
there's guys that win Oscars for editing. You know, sometimes you've heard people say, "Man, the preview was better than the movie."
Well,
that's not easy to cut a preview together to entice people to go, "Holy, I'm interested." So that's an art.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because this is really funny that he said this, and this is why the first thing I thought about when he said that is, so if you went to a great comedic movie, and at the end of it, you know when they have those blooper reels at the end?
Yeah.
So is that just is that ruining the integrity of film because you put the blooper reels at the end that makes people
fun.
go?
People love
fun.
That.
There you go. You see connection to the audience.
Right.
You see somebody on the bloopers. You see someone that you admire up.
Yeah.
So it's the connection, and this is what he's missing. And this is what. And by the way, if you've never seen me perform, I don't do crowd work unless I have to, unless it's organic. I'll do it. I'm not afraid. It's just not my area, and I don't like posting.
You're an in the pocket quarterback.
Well, I have fun.
You scramble if you have to.
Yeah, and
but it's not your thing.
But I'm also the guy who will walk up with no jokes and go tell some things off the top of my head, and that's not.
Right.
You know, I'm not. It's just how I like to work. I really enjoy that I have the microphone. You don't listen. That's right. You know, there's the response. You have 2 ears. I have one microphone. Let's make this happen. So that's my approach to comedy, and I understand Gerard Carmichael's approach to it because his that way because he is talking about serious things. He's going through it. He does, and he has people that yell out, have said things in the show. When we, as you watched, Rothaniel,
Rothaniel, that's what it was. I said Rothschild.
Yeah, and they're saying things to him. Is that crowd?
But he
work?
allowed that.
Yeah, but is that crowd work though? Because now you're going off the top of your head. So now, did you make crowd work? I'm not saying he did or he didn't. I don't know how he interprets what crowd work is. I know some of this is cheesy that some people have put out online, but it's to sell tickets, dude. And if you can sell tickets, do you remember when you couldn't sell a ticket? Come on, man.
Listen, I'm not going to demean that in any way, shape, or form. And I remember you telling me, and like Matt Rife sets it up to have a Q&A.
Yeah,
to get the audience involved. And was it you that told me that, was it Louis C.K. or somebody had said that they didn't like that?
Yeah, I don't know if I told you that. I might have, but I did know
that.
No, it was me. I did tell you about that.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I don't do Q&As. When I'm Michael Vickett, I'm really going off of something I see or whatever it is I decide I want to make fun of. Whereas, and listen, even if you do what Matt Rife is doing and you open it up for the audience to engage, the bottom line of this whole thing is to get laughs. That's what we do. That's the bottom line. How you get them, if you carrot top with props, if you political, if you blue, if you clean, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is laughs.
Yeah.
So however you achieve that is your business.
Yeah, I just don't like dismissing something as not art.
I thought that was so disrespectful. Like, come on, man. Listen, there are a lot of comedians who would love to be able to do crowd work, but they don't have it. They don't have that skill set. And if that's why they work out that phrase with the club. Yo, if a guy is heckling and gets to be too much, the code words are,
I need a cup of coffee.
You could use a cup of coffee. Yeah. And he'll be escorted out because that heckler is putting that comic like a deer in headlights. They panic. They don't know what to do. So that's a skill set when you can leave your material and go, let me destroy this real quick off the top of my dome. That's a skill set, man. And I wear that badge proudly.
You're great with it. I honestly, you are. But like when we were in Buffalo, I put that clip out where the guy said something else about it was still bothered by that joke, and I went off on him and had fun with it, and the audience was. I wish I would have recorded the time when that lady, a lady in Buffalo had a. Some kind of attack. I forgot what it was, but she passed out and she was laying on the floor while I was on stage. And I did a. Now you have to come back after that. And if you want, and this is, I'll put this out there like this. This is to Gerard. If you have a situation like that in your room, you can't go into material right there.
And this is where I was just thinking to myself, if somebody straight passes out and you just keep doing your material, do you know how bad that looks? And it's awkward.
Yeah, and no one likes it. No one's gonna. Your material's gonna die because they're watching. But I went.
You gotta lean on crowd work now.
So I came back with it. And I said, "Man, you guys we all saw that." I go, "Can I ask you guys a question though? Does it make me a bad person for me to want to believe that I did that to her? Like my jokes were so good.
That bitch passed out. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that I almost killed her. Like, does that make me a bad person? Right. And that turned the room around, right?
Yeah. But that is a skill set, dude. You know how hard that is?
So I didn't understand. I just didn't understand his perspective.
Taking control of chaos and making it work for you.
Yeah. I don't understand that. I don't understand that perspective for him, and I respect him as a comic. We've talked about him on here, how much we really appreciate his comedy and what he's doing. I'm in awe of what he's done. Right. That just sounded weird to me, and I think he's just in a different place right now, and he had to protect himself a little bit on the Breakfast Club.
And listen, I had said, if you remember in last week's episode, that Andy and I were supposed to talk about having seen his documentary on HBO, and I said
it's his life story, or his life
story. Yeah. So I think they're at 3 episodes now, and I said to Andy ahead of time, I watched the first episode, and I said, when I play this clip, the one you just heard, it's going to be a little lengthy, but it'll make up for the fact that I'm not going to watch no more Carmichaels after having seen the first one. Whew. There's a moment in the first episode where he's going to the Emmys, and he's trying to decide who his date is going to be. So he is randomly interviewing guys to possibly go with him to the Emmys. And one dude who I guess he found very attractive, he just starts on this nigga's toes. I turned my head and looked out the plane window. I went, oh, I can't. That's it for me, dog.
But maybe there's something to that, man. Maybe
to what?
To that.
You just met this. But you don't know him, and you got his toes in your mouth. Now, granted, Andy has said this many times. You said when you've talked to your gay friends or whoever, they go, we're men. So at the end of the day, we want to.
Yeah.
We don't. Women, you got to court and you got to date and you got to earn it.
Yeah. No, they're just. Let's get to the business.
Let's get to the business because they're men. So I just went, oh my god.
But maybe there's something in there that we don't know. Listen, I'm giving gay dudes a lot of credit. First of all, I'm going to say this, and I'll get to my point. But let me just say this: gay dudes brought many things that we enjoy in our sex life. You honestly, and I know you disagree with me on this, but I guarantee you the first was a dude, another dude.
I will never give you that.
Why?
Why?
Because there's a hole on a woman, and it felt good, and so guys were like, "This is what we do with this. This is where it goes." Gay dudes have to come up with other things. So you don't think that the gay dude was the first dude to go, "All right, put that in here."
Nah.
And then he told one of his girlfriends, and she went back and her dude off, and all of a sudden, as a matter of fact, I know it is because that was illegal. It was illegal to someone forever, and what do they call it? What's the word?
Nasty.
No. What's the actual word for it?
No.
There's an actual legal word.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Sodomy.
Sodomy is anal or oral. So they put them under the same classification. It was considered a gay act. So I'm telling you, the gay dude told his girlfriend, the girl that he's friends with, and she went back through dudes. And all of a sudden, he was like, "You know what, my girl," and that's how we got this. So I give gay dudes credit for bringing that in. Here's what I think: that toe thing, you might find out that if the toes are good, the good.
You know, you if we were in a moving car and you were driving, I at 80 miles an hour, I just jumped out the passenger side. And I'm rolling on the asphalt.
Maybe that's the way they can cut through all that.
That's how you lost me.
They can cut through all that. They just stick a toe and they go, "Oh, this is good."
I didn't even ask you to pull over. I at 80 miles an hour, I unclicked my seatbelt and I jumped out the whip. Get the out of here, man. Yeah, man. I just I respect the dude as an artist. I think he's a deep thinker. I've always said, again, Dave Chappelle is the Miles Davis of comedy. This guy is Thelonious Monk. I love jazz, but
he's on a. I said this to you. He's on a journey. He's on his gay journey.
Well, I'm done.
He lived a life where he was lying to everybody, and now he can come out, and he came out big. He's coming out big. He came out.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
And he's having a good time with it. And it's his journey. And that's what this docudrama or whatever about his life is that he's living right now. And that's great. But I watched the first episode. I got through it. I went to watch the second episode. Tara's with me. And I get like a quarter of the way through it. And I turned around and looked at Tara. I go, "Am I a horrible person? Because this is just so uncomfortable to me. And I can't watch any more of this." And she looked at me and she goes, "I got to be honest, I'm a little uncomfortable too." I go, "That's it. I'm just going to tell Aries I got through an episode and a quarter."
First of all, anything that you are supposed to watch and enjoy, the words "get through it" is a bad association. When you have to put the words, "I just want to get through it," connected to something that's supposed to be enjoyable, then it's not enjoyable. Listen, I know you're not into anime too much. But have you ever heard of the cartoon Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
This is Super Saiyan gay. This is Dragon Ball Z gay. And I just can't. It's too much for me, dog.
You know what I've said? This is his journey. It's a gay journey. I'm not gay. I don't relate to it. And honestly, some of it is a little like when they did the whole scene where his girlfriend finds the boy butter.
Oh,
and he's describing what it's for.
Oh.
Well, as soon as
it made me never want to eat butter, period.
Well, and as soon as he describes what it's for, you can't help but put that image in your head.
I say you're forcing me to look at gay. The moment you say the words, I have to have an image. And with this docu thing, there are images and words. Too much for me, man.
Now, and if that's your thing, get it, man. Figure it out. I don't care. But it's not a journey that I'm willing to go on.
I was willing to try to go on it because of the genius of who he is.
Yep.
And I wanted to see where he was going to take us. But he's taking us to Mickey's in Greenwich Village, and I don't want to go to Mickey's.
But you know what? I'm not discouraging people to watch this. If you want to check it out, listen. It's interesting. The first episode, I think, if that's not a journey you need to go on, it's going to get you. It's going to get you everything that you need to know. But yeah, I looked at, and when Tara goes, I'm actually a little uncomfortable too, and I was like, okay, good. And now I don't feel like such an asshole. Right. Let's watch something else, and we watched A Curb. You know, I could understand that. I could relate to that. So that's what happened. But very Yeah, it's a journey. And so for our gay listeners, man, if you want that,
Hey, it's for you.
it's free. If you're into it, if you're still on that self-expression and learning about yourself and what other, man, that's all for you, man. Get it. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
As your favorite person from this weekend, who was on the very first show, who loved you so much and loved the show, who kept on saying, "Let's go,
Oh,
let's go."
yeah.
You'll be saying that, "Let's go," though, if you're not into it. You'll be saying it in a different way. Let's go. Time to change.
So rest in peace to the Gerard Carmichael show.
No, man. There's people out there that are going to enjoy the show. I know that they are, and I'm happy for the people that are going to enjoy it. I think I'm going to say this to him because I hope he hears this. I doubt he ever will, but I hope he hears it. Very brave of him to open up his doors and let people know and being honest about it. And I applaud him for that, man. I think that's fantastic. It's not my journey. It's not something I need to go on with him. I'm happy that he's doing it. And all those that want to go on that journey, great for you guys. Let's go.
Let's jump out the frying pans and into the refrigerator. Let's go into a cooler place. So I watched this Jerry Seinfeld movie called
Unfrosted.
Unfrosted. The best part of that movie to me was Bill Burr.
It was great, Bill Burr. I wonder how many people didn't even notice that it was Bill Burr, though.
It took me a second, but then, it all made sense. He's from Boston.
Yeah.
So he knows how to do that, that Boston accent there. But that was it. Other than that, man, this did nothing for me.
Dude, I kind of liked it. I got to be honest. I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the most amazing thing I ever saw. I thought it was a good spoof docudrama. Like, they're making a It's loosely based on the Pop-Tart coming to life. I thought it was odd. It was an odd thing. It was like, to be honest, it reminded me of a Mad TV skits or SNL skits.
And some skits go on way too long. This was one of them.
Well, but there was lots of skits put together. I thought it was fine. I liked it. He's getting heat because of the things that he said recently, so everybody's jumping on the bandwagon.
Based on this movie or
about he criticized the left for ruining movies, and they wanted to take it all out on him on this. Everybody can. The January 6th references that are in there with the mascots overthrown.
That was kind of funny.
I thought that was hysterically funny when because it's so understated. You didn't know it. All of a sudden, you walk in. Tony the Tiger has the horns, and yeah. So and then you got to also appreciate Hugh Grant is playing that character. He's all in to do that character that way. I thought it was great. The amount of cameos in there. There's literally like 100 cameos in this. They shit on. I read an article and they shit on the fact that John Hamm from Mad Men is reviving the Mad Men characters.
That was kind of cool.
That was really cool. And they were like, "That's an old show, and it was from this time. That's his originality." Yeah, because guess what? The show is taking place at the same time as the Pop-Tart thing. The Mad Men and the Pop-Tarts took place at the same time, so it fit. Why would you on that? Why do you these writers and these people that want to hate on people right now, when they find a reason to hate on even the best parts of it, they hated on for no reason. It fit. John Hamm didn't have to go and do that with him. He saw it. He thought, that's smart. That fits. Let's do it. Yeah. And you're on it. It's not an amazing movie. I thought it was a very funny little kitschy kind of movie. I enjoyed watching it. I don't know that if it was a blockbuster release that was going to be at the movies and I had to pay $20 for it. I'm not going to do that for it.
Listen, cool kids got to hang out with cool kids.
That's what it was.
It's Jerry Seinfeld. It's Amy Schumer, Jim Gaffigan, Sebastian Maniscalco, George Wallace. It was who doesn't want to with Jerry Seinfeld?
Dude, it was funny. It was funny enough. Let me put it that way. Like I'm saying, these guys.
Melissa McCarthy, Peter Dinklage.
I love that
Christian Slater.
How would you like to be in a position that you were successful enough that you could just do shit that you thought was fun and funny?
Well, that's the goal of every artist, is to do things on your terms.
Well, it had a little reminiscence to me of some of the stuff that. Now I'm going to forget his name too because Billy Madison. What's his name?
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler's kind of movies. Like he's getting to do his own fun stuff. And if you don't put these up against blockbusters, if you look at it as a Netflix release and this entertainment gets to come into your house, and if you appreciate it for what it is, it's great. And I thought this is getting underrated just because people are on Jerry right now against what he is. He's looking like the old guy now that he told people to get off his lawn. And I think it's unfair because there's some really good parts in it. Yeah, overall, the movie's called Unfrosted. It's about a Pop-Tart. What did you think was going to happen in this movie? Did you think anything amazing was going to be part of this movie? There's great cameos, interesting little side plots, and some things that happen. But that's what it is. It's about a Pop-Tart. And it was written by one of the writers with Jerry Seinfeld from Seinfeld, Nate Fritzen. He's the one who did the Soup Nazi. So they wrote it, and I didn't know this until recently. They did it during the pandemic as kind of a goof. They were just writing. They didn't think this was going. They didn't know if this would ever get made. This was just something fun. It was a project that was fun. This is from the guy who brought you Comedian Cars Getting Coffee. Do you understand the simplicity of it? Cars, comedians drinking coffee, going down the road. That's what this was. It was about a Pop-Tart. It's going to have that same kind of that Jerry Seinfeld kind of thought process on it, and it didn't disappoint. It was what it was supposed to be. And for all those people that are all uptight about it, they can because this is what it was. If you went into the Pop-Tart movie thinking it was going to revitalize theater, you're crazy.
Well, listen, because it's a Netflix release, and if you have a subscription to Netflix, it's where that movie is where it belongs.
Exactly.
But to put it in the box office, spending $8 or whatever movies cost now, and popcorn, and so it wasn't that.
No.
But it's where it belonged.
I thought it was interesting. It was funny. It was definitely watchable. With what everybody's doing, I think their personal feelings are involved in this, and it really shows how it shows how affected people can be from someone else's opinion. And I'm not going to go there with this.
Dude, I'm telling you, I would have the biggest applause for Jerry Seinfeld if he, like within a year, set it up to let people know his name was Jerome. And his next special was a nigga named Jerome. I'm telling you, he would be the biggest gangster in the world to me comedically if he did that. And he wouldn't even have to, he just put the N and then the little asterisk. N blip, 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 named Jerome. Oh my God, that would be great.
Dude, whatever he needs to do. Listen, he does, you know where I love that his art is? He's in there, I don't give a it's my art. This is my money. I'll do what I want to do. I love it. Yeah. And, everybody said, I saw this one article that someone wrote and said, yeah, how much Netflix had to spend to get all these cameos. I bet they didn't. I bet people.
Probably nothing.
People wanted to be in it.
Probably got scale.
It was fun.
Yeah.
You guys lost the, you especially you tard writers in Hollywood, you lost your fun. You let someone who had an opinion change your views.
Well, let me say this, though, and I don't know where the writers were really coming from in terms of their criticism, but maybe they were coming from, for all those cameos, this should have been way funnier. And it really wasn't that funny.
I thought it was.
To me.
I know, but I know which kind of funny you want from these things. And I thought it was a very Seinfeld-esque kind of funny. It's just kitschy stuff. It's just a little slightly off to the right or off to the left look at something that's happened. And when I say right to the left, it's people who are complaining about it. That's what they're going to think that I mean politically. No, I mean your perspective, off, right or left, like when you go to the doctor, not any other way. Yeah. He told some people to get off of his lawn, and everybody's mad now.
Right.
And it's too bad. It's just the heat of the climate. It's unfortunate because I think that it was a fun enough movie. You could sit there with your kids and watch this movie. And everybody, there's some kids in this movie, and that's what people said. They were the edgiest part. They wanted an edgy. Jerry Seinfeld isn't edgy like that. Seinfeld in the later years. This is what I'm sorry. I got to do this real quick. If you were a Seinfeld fan and you watched Seinfeld was what it was because of Larry David. And then when Larry David left, it's a kid. That's the yada 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 years. That's the easier stuff. That's the nicer Seinfeld. And that's why when Larry David came back and wrote the last episode, it didn't mesh anymore because it wasn't in that direction anymore. So this is 100% a Jerry Seinfeld kind of piece, and I liked it, and I don't give a shit. I'm going to put, like, I liked it. It's worth checking out.
Seinfeld is a safe sandwich. You know, just little ham, little cheese, little mayo, and that's it.
Do you know?
Ain't gonna be no peppers and onions and some deli mustard or some exotic aioli. He's just a safe sandwich.
He just changes your perspective a little bit. Listen, one of his most famous jokes, it was a simple, genius joke, though, with an outlook on it, but wouldn't resonate, I don't think, today. And I don't think you'd find it funny. It's where he talks about the fattest guy in the world in the Guinness Book of World Records. And I think they said fat back then, so it was fattest guy. And he weighed like 1,500 pounds, I think, or something. And he goes, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? What do you lose like 200 and you're still 1,300 pounds, and people are coming up to you going, "Hey, you look great. What did you lose there? What are you down to? Like 1,298? You're a rail." You know, that was his joke, and that's what Seinfeld is. I don't know what people are expecting.
Name's wrong.
I think it would be so funny if he just had that, like you said, did an alternate personality and put it out there. He could write it if he wanted to. He doesn't.
Right.
That's not what he enjoys.
I told him hoes. I did. All right. I think we should call this one Gerard's Journey.
We're supposed to call it part 2 of it. You know what?
Oh, Canada Part Deux.
Yeah, do.
I think that's DEUX.
Yeah, I got it in there. I don't know how I did it, but I did. It's East Canada. Part 2. All right. I guess that's... Oh, yeah, maybe some dates. Should I do that?
Yeah. So we got Green Bay next week, right?
Yeah. I don't know what day. Is it
I think
Friday?
It's Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is Thursday. It is Thursday.
Because Boston is Saturday, kid.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Dude, we got to make sure, we got to figure out what we're going to talk about, because we got Brian's song still. I got a little bit on Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah, I would like to get to that Kramer versus Kramer.
But we have to have a third something in there.
We'll find something. There's a lot out right now. We'll get something. You guys got any suggestions? Here we go. Here's where we're going to be. What? I just had it, and now it's gone. What the?
Email's like your memory. You just had it. Now it's gone.
No, it was right there. All right, guys. We're still in Portland. We're going to be leaving tomorrow morning. And like Aries just said, May 9th, we're going to be at the Meyer Theater in Green Bay, Wisconsin. May 11th, we're at the Wilbur in Boston. Very excited about that. May 24th, we're at the Richmond, Virginia Funny Bone. May 30th through June 2nd, we're off the hook in Naples, Florida. June 13th through the 16th, we're at Cap City in Austin, Texas. I'm talking Aries into going out early. He said we're going to go out early.
No, I'm gonna go out
so you might see us running around there, just playing around. June 22nd, Aries is going to be at the Albany Municipal Auditorium in Albany, Georgia. I will be getting married that day, so I won't be there unless things go really bad. June 27th through the 30th, we'll be at Helium in St. Louis. July 5th through the 6th, we'll be at the Funny Bone in Omaha. I'm looking forward to going back there. July 18th through the 20th, I'll give you 2 more. Cobb's in San Francisco. And August 8th through the 10th, we're going to be at the Mic Drop in San Diego, California. Going back to see our buddy, Casey.
Oh, Casey from Baston.
That's right.
Yeah, fucking Casey, kid. There it is, man.
That's a show.
That is it? Yeah, that is.
Gotcha.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this, it was hosted by Aries Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.